Yo, hello everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes. Today we have, I gotta put the meme up. Hold up. There we go. Welcome back to Tub Takes. Today we have three special guests, or as Alex likes to say, two special guests and one other person. First and foremost, we have my co-host Alex Underhill. How are you doing?
I was going to say, there's nothing special about me. I'm always here.
I know we did
No,
the
you're
exact same
special.
bit.
You're not a guest.
Nick is getting less and less special by the week.
We've done the exact same bit for the last 3 weeks now, so we really got to figure out a new funny thing to say. But we're serving the funny things for when Alex gets to host again. And then of course, second we got Nails. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got off a coaching session with someone, and we did some serious cooking for Fort Wayne that I'm actually considering using myself. And I'm just in a great mood, honestly.
That's dope. And then of course, last but not least, we have your Vancouver Regional Champion. We have Sempra. How are you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. We tried to get you on last week, but of course, Vancouver being kind of isolated, hard for everyone who's traveling, or just getting back home. But we got to get you on this week and hear all about your really crazy performance over that weekend, which I'm really excited to hear about. But yeah, let's go over the things we're going to talk about. Of course, Vancouver happened last week. We kind of talked about that last week. We'll definitely touch on it a little bit, given that we have you, Sempra, on the channel. But we also have to talk about a couple other events that happened this past weekend. Both there was a regional in Taiwan that gave out Worlds invites, and then we also had a special event in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And then we also have to talk about Charlotte Regionals, which is coming up this weekend. And obviously, this is the last event of Series 2, so we won't harp on the Series 2 teams too long, hopefully. But I don't think we're going to run out of things to talk about. We never seem to, even though we always think we will.
But if you guys have questions, feel free to mention them in the chat. We will get to them, especially if you have anything interesting that you're curious about. But we make sure to keep up, as well as a good quick reminder here that this is going to be on YouTube, uploaded on Wednesday. So if you are here now, but you know that you won't be able to stick around for the whole stream, you can check out the rest of it on YouTube at your convenience, uploaded in 2 days.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it'll be up on Wednesday over on my channel. And now we have Nightbot, so you can type in the command !YouTube and see exactly where you're going to find it.
True. There we have that.
Yeah.
Also, sorry about the caps warning. I feel like that normally should be fine. So we still got to tweak Nightbot. We're still getting the hang of this whole streaming thing.
That's true. I gotta delete the giveaway function, and stuff like that.
Wait, why did you mention it? Because now people are gonna do it.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the first event that we have on the docket, which is the Taiwan Regional. And so, to give you some background about this, until I think 2022 or sometime during the pandemic, Taiwan and most of Southeast Asia was part of TPCI, which is the branch of the Pokemon
The
company.
non-Japan branch.
The non-Japan branch, essentially, yes. So Japan and Korea are run by TPC, the Pokemon Company. TPCI is the Pokemon Company International, and they're a part of the Australian APAC circuit. However, midway through the pandemic, when we had the same season but different season, TPC annexed that part of the world, and now all of Southeast Asia is covered under them, and therefore they do not have championship points. They instead have their own national systems, much like Japan and Korea, to qualify. And so this is the first event in that sort of qualification system, which I am not exactly sure how it works. I
Why don't you go ahead down to the prize section? At the very least, this kind of explains some things that are going to be different here than what we're used to seeing. We see here that the winner gets a day one invite, and as well as a invite straight to their day two of their nationals, and then the runner-up just gets an invite straight to the nationals day two. So pretty interesting considering the rest did not get any type of championship points or anything. So it was only the finalists were able to walk away with any type of momentum towards a Worlds invite, I would assume that Nationals is going to be giving out more Worlds invites than just one, but we'll see.
And if the regionals are only giving out 2 Nats Day 2 invites, then like it has to be a pretty exclusive event to only be handing out 2 at a regional, and like there's not that many regionals, so.
And then attendance-wise, this was at 256 players, which is just like a nice power of 2, so it's probably a cap
It does say that
of
it's
some
capped.
sort.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. And so, yeah, and then otherwise, I think that they didn't have prize money for this, but it looks like there's some other prizes listed. You got like a Switch if you won and a copy of the game, which always like makes me laugh. Like it is weirder. I mean, like I know that like us winning TCG cards, we've always talked about that being kind of a strange thing. They do win a booster box here, but like winning the games is just like, what? I needed that to play this. Like what am I supposed to do with this? I mean, it's fun.
You can give it to your friend.
Yeah, I guess so.
You can sell it to your friend. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's you can probably sell it for about the retail, but like yeah, that's so whack. Like it would have been more reasonable to just gift the DLC, because you can pre-order the DLC now, right?
Oh, you're right.
That's how
Yeah,
you
so
get
like they could have
the
just
Zoroark.
for a $60 value or whatever, you could have given them the DLC codes, but yeah, they just gave them the base game that they already have, and yeah, it is kind of whack.
An extra one too. You get a double pack if you win, so you get both games. If you got finals, you got one of them, which I guess like honestly feels like it makes a little more sense because maybe you just get the other one you didn't have.
Oh, no, it's a double pack. Wait, that's even weirder.
Yeah, it's so funny. And you do get a copy for semifinals as well. You get some Joy-Cons for a second. I mean, this is just so funny. I mean, it's just interesting. At least there is prizing. I actually don't. That might be more than what we're going to be seeing at the Utrecht special event. I don't know. And then it also says all players got like we see that a lot here in the U.S. The NA events, you get a commemorative card. Okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think I don't know if we have much information about the nationals that's coming up for them, but we'll probably talk about that more as it comes around. Let me double check if we have dates for it at the very least.
One thing I want to note about this is that I don't think there have been that many cases of just like having regionals in TPC regions. Like Japan regionals just aren't a thing, and so I wonder. This kind of brings back memories of like the 2014, 2015 regionals with no prize pools, no entry fees, that type of beat. And just it generally feels like how TPCI used to run things, and it like there's a connection of TPC to old school TPCI before they started esportsing it. And so I kind of feel it. I don't know if there's like any plans of having Japanese regionals moving forward, but just interesting
I'm
to think
pretty
about
sure
that.
this
That
was
could
also
be
the
a thing.
structure in 2022, for what it's worth.
Sure.
They had regionals back then in a few different countries, but this was the I remember them having regionals with similar pricing in terms of nationals invites, and if I remember correctly, these countries do not get many Worlds invites. I think it's like 1 per regional, and there's 3, and then they get like 4 invites with 1 day 2 invite or something like that, like crazy like that at a.
That is whack. Okay.
Yeah. So they give out like 8 invites total for the entire country.
8 total?
At most, I think it might be less than that.
That's crazy.
In fact, I think we can find out. It's just like 2022 Taiwan Nationals VGC. We'll show it.
I also want to note that the giving away Worlds Day 1 invites is just something that they should do. Like this has been just like an idea for the circuit that I've had for a while, is that regional wins should award just a straight day 1 invite, and internats wins should award a straight day 2 invite.
I mean, there's only like so many. Yeah, 4 internats, like day 2 invites, that seems fine. And honestly, those players already have a very big jump on it that it would not be unheard heard of to see them secure a day 2 spot anyway for the Internats winners. And
Yeah,
the
like
regional
I'm
winners.
not sure
It
that
just sounds awesome. It just sounds like, you, but especially with like all the NA regionals that are being streamed officially, you're gonna want to see those people compete on the world stage. And it's
like being
just
able
for
to
fun.
announce that you win, you just have a day one invite, as an award for the regional is just a lot more hype than they get this fat stack of points that probably gets them a world's invite. Being able to say when you win it, I have a world's invite, just feels like good for the brand, and feels like they're not really offering much. Like, you do the occasional get the first time winner, that but even the first time winners, hi Sempra, like aren't usually going to struggle to get a day one invite. No jinxes, but like, I just think uh, it's like very straightforward to offer that, and it doesn't change.
Yeah, I was
anything.
gonna ask, Summer, you only do have the 200 points, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's the only event you've gone to officially, right?
And-
So
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you mentioned, or go ahead, sir.
No, my bad. I was just gonna say my very unbiased opinion is that they should give world invites to winners.
what's your next event that you'll be attending?
I think I'm just gonna do NAIC.
Just NAIC? Okay, so that's a good
Yeah.
place to get the remaining points. You don't have to make it too deep. Just like get your remaining 100 that you need. What is that?
Top 128.
Anyway.
Yeah. I
one.
think-
Yeah, one time. If we have the attendance blow up, top 128 is actually not going to be as free as it's been in
Yep.
free relative. Like
that's
it's still
what I
top,
was thinking too.
it's top third in the tournament, but which is like objectively not free. Like um, you have to play good Pokemon. But even aside from that, like
Yeah. If we're
it's-
comparing it to
if
EU,
we're at like 1,000-player tournament, which
yeah,
seems plausible, it's actually a very solid achievement to top 128.
So for what
Yep.
it's worth, there's a decent chance that we hit 1,000 players and therefore get top 256 points. I think it's 800 is the bar for that, which is 80 points. And there's also a decent chance that we haven't heard about this, so I keep saying it, and they haven't announced anything, so maybe it's not happening. But there's a decent chance that the online Japan Nationals qualifiers, traditionally, those have been open to everyone and award championship points to Western players. So there's a decent chance that you can earn 20 points from those, and then only need top 256, which is much more doable. And
And what's the kicker for top 256 again?
it's 800, and if the cap isn't that high, we should easily hit 800. Like EUIC has surpassed that.
Yeah, if it's going to be something like that, yep, that would make a lot of sense. Okay, Adi, I dropped a Limitless link, by the way. You were saying something about a past Taiwan event. There was a special last year. Is that what you were looking for?
No, actually have it up on stream right now. Japan Nationals in 2022, Taiwan Nationals, excuse me, in 2022. And so day one, there were 143 players. It looks like it was pretty open invite. Day two, there were 32 players who qualified, and they awarded 1 day 2 invite and 3 day 1 invite. So you had to get top 4 to get your Worlds invite at that event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is just tight.
Oh, and by the way, day 2, 4 Swiss rounds plus single elimination top 8. So good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's
Wait, 32-player tour with 4 Swiss rounds?
4 Swiss rounds. There were 10 people who went X1 or better, and there was 2 people who went 4-0. Wait, yeah, and then top 8. So a couple people who went X1 missed cut. That's just, it's a pretty awful
Yeah,
format.
that is brutal. That is honestly.
Yeah, shoutouts to the guy in 7th who went like,
So that's day 1 record, right? 6-0 is probably day 1.
yeah, they went like 6-0 to 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Um.
They made cut. It's top 8 cut.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then they lost and cut, and then you just have to win around and cut.
And then you have to win around and cut.
Oh.
And it's like,
That's so brutal.
it's awful. Like, I know.
Like you just get your death matchup and cut after going 6-0, 3-1. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, we had this on a much smaller level when we had top 8 cut, top 4 CP at like locals that had, I think, 17 to 23 players. This is the same thing, except your World's invite is on the line instead. And it's in June, and you're flying out in August. So like, I think most of us will have booked our flights to Japan by then, or at least Alex and I probably will
Yeah,
have.
no. 2 months in advance for a flight from Taiwan to
In this case,
like
London.
London is that's you usually want to be booking your international flights before then.
Yeah.
It's still doable, but it's like um, having more time to book it is the main thing.
hmm
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, there were a lot of complaints from Asian players about the structures that they had compared to what they had when TPCI was hosting it, and understandably so. This is just a pretty awful system. I mean, but that being said, I guess at the very least, Yang Daowei, who I think he got his day one invite last year too by getting top 4 at Japan. Excuse me, I keep saying Japan at Taiwan Nationals, and so one of the more consistent players in Taiwan. I don't know a ton of Taiwanese players, but this person's been killing it.
I recognize Megumi from the like Smogon Winter League, and they're pretty solid. And I think they went 4-3 a day too. So like
Oh, I forgot there was an event earlier this year in Taiwan in Series 1.
Oh,
And this one didn't grant a Worlds invite, but it granted some Nationals Day 2s. Adi, you can find it by scrolling down a bit in the page to the overview history section.
Tainan.
Yes, Tainan. Yeah, so it looks like there's 2 teams. The 2 finalists get a path to the second day of Nationals.
Okay, I mean, fair enough.
Interesting. So yeah, I forgot about this one earlier. I'm glad that we had this overview section to kind of mention these things. And yeah, that was back in December playing Regulation A. And yeah, sure enough, they didn't get a World invite for winning. I don't know what's the tiering of events over there then, if certain regionals are worth more than others, but eventually there's going to be a national at the end that pretty much decides it all anyway. It is a strange system. Definitely hard to follow when you're so familiar with how NA and EU does things, and pretty much just any region that's not Japan. And Korea. They also do things pretty differently over there.
Okay, one more thing I have to add before we talk about the teams themselves is that we were talking about pricing. One thing that Yu-Gi-Oh does, this is the only other game that I'm super familiar with, is and this is from Gabriel Netz, who's a pro Yu-Gi-Oh player who actually went to a VGC event. But you can see in the background there's a switch case that they get, and you only get it for getting top cut at a YCS event, which is somewhere in between a regional and an internets in terms of prestige. And that's one of the prizing that you get for a certain placement. And it's funny that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't use your Switch at all, but they give out a Nintendo Switch and a case that you can only get from doing well at these events. In Pokemon, you get nothing exclusive. You just get a game that you can bet anywhere. That you can go to Target. And get.
Well, no, you get the top 8 mats.
That's true.
I have a fat stack of TCG mats that that are sitting over there in my room.
Okay, hold on. I need my old podcast host Steven Morioka here to remind us of what they did back in the day. But for Worlds in one of the years, you would get a special DS, which was honestly even more dope than just a Switch case. I mean, I would happily take a unique Switch case. Don't get me wrong, but a unique console, a unique system, that sounds so incredibly cool. And they used to do stuff like that back in the day. They don't do it anymore though.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I should look it up. I'll see if I can find a picture of Pokemon Worlds. Yes.
We do get at least last year when we went to Worlds, we got a London Switch case, which is very cool. Decked out too. It was a really nice case. You could buy one at the Pokemon Center too. That was a little different. I ended up giving mine away as a gift because I figured if I bring my World Switch case to an event and there's 50 other people at the event that also have the same World Switch case, things are going to get really confusing. But
for sure.
But it's a really nice case. But yeah, no, I think that I'd love to see more, like, as far as like prizing for events that maybe I don't know exactly what the laws are or whatever that made them give out this instead of actual cash prizing like we get in North America. But if we're getting Pokemon branded apparel, I would much rather see it be collectible apparel that you can't get otherwise. That at the very least will have some value as a collector's item. And knowing how Pokemon collector's items go, you could probably sell it for a hefty chunk of money. Anyways, much like you can the swag that you get for going to Worlds.
If you just Google Pokemon Worlds DS, you can see a couple examples, Adi, and like this DSi XL from what is this 2010 is incredible looking. Like, holy!
These are dope. Yeah, I want one of these. That's great.
I'm talking about the yellow one to the right of it. Yeah, those like that's just insane.
That's a beautiful system. That's so nice.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
gotta give these out instead of what they're giving out instead. It's really nice.
Yeah, that'd be way preferable to top 8 mats.
Yeah, they only did this at the world level, so nothing like regionals or
Yeah.
nationals. But like still, it's just something that you would never forget. And also, as you can see, like for me it would be valueless because I don't think I would plan on getting rid of it. But as you can see with like one of the eBay listings, like it's listed as like 10K. Like, yeah, insane. I mean, that's also because of like the passage of time, of course. But they also don't do anything like this anymore. So, man. Although I feel like the Switch would not. I guess you'd have to get like some cool Joy-Cons because like the back.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
blinged out Joy-Cons, those are still really cool.
That still would be really cool. But I mean, here's hoping. Here's crossing our fingers. You know, that they do something cool like this again.
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
pretty much
no,
it's
yeah,
the
just
style
like
of it.
having Koridon Joy-Cons, yeah, no, those would be sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like just like a little like Worlds logo or some kind of Worlds art. We don't have the Worlds art, right? It's like way too early for that, right?
Way too
Yeah.
early. Yeah.
They normally announce that like closer to like NAIC or something.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, I guess since this is a VGC
Or
podcast,
I think they
no,
they released
not,
like they released the first instance of World's Art on the same like thing, the same release where they released like Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. They put the first art up. Anyways, yeah, back to the topics.
yeah, we could talk about some VGC maybe.
We can talk about some teams. I'll be honest. Series 2 is just about over. Obviously, Charlotte is going to be the
Hey,
last
you
event.
still have a tournament about that. You still have
I
a tournament.
I know, and I'm busy freaking out about it. But like, I don't know how many viewers want to sit us here and talk about the intricacies of Series 2. And also, for what it's worth, while Taiwan is notorious for being very creative, a lot of these teams are pretty standard. A lot of these teams are teams we've seen before. It is like the tail end of this format. But I guess we can talk about some of the cooler things that we have to see, including I don't think I've ever seen a Sandy Shocks on a Talon Tusk team before.
Yeah, no, that's like a little bit different. I think that's replacing what we normally see as the Gothitelle slot on the team. Does that look like that? At least the Talon Tusk teams that carry Tyranitar often carry Gothitelle in that position. But Sandy Shock's just another Pokemon to take advantage of the team's offensive nature. It's a Pokemon that can hit some of the more common defensive terras really well. It hits poison, it hits flying, it hits fire, and so it's like and water as well. Just a very strong offensive option that does something a little bit different than Great Tusk. It's less susceptible to Intimidate, of course, and can just be a cool different option. I don't know exactly what set it is, but you can do some cool things with Sandy Shocks for sure.
Okay, I have one more comment about the tournament structure in general, which is that I just noticed this. They have 2 7-0s after Swiss, and they finished first and second. They both went undefeated through top 16. That is crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen before.
Yeah, no, if you are exactly at power of 2, then yeah. They, I guess that means they're doing Swiss -1, right?
They had
Because
256 people, right? And they had 7 rounds, so Normally you have
Yeah, that would be an 8-round tournament.
that's a 9-round tournament. We have 227
I think
for day 2
that's
Swiss now.
Oh, okay. So
I
I was
think
thinking uh, like 128 is the bar for 8 players though. So like if we had some like 180 player tournaments and those were 8-round regionals, like back in the day. And 256 is like exactly at the bar for that. But uh, it's just like clean, always 7-0 like clean Swiss.
Mhm.
Um,
That is kind of wild, though. So yeah, let's look at these teams and Sandy Shocks. Other than that, like I don't think there's anything else to say about that top team. Second place is just the team that we saw from Marcus, and third place gets a little bit crazier. This is actually Solo Dozo. I thought we were saving Solo Dozo for Regulation C because I've seen that a bit at the Regulation C ladder, but I have not seen um, Solo Dozo done much in Series 2. Sadly, we don't have any team sheets to look at and go over, like what's the set on it,
Yeah, we
what
do.
they're
They posted
doing
on
here.
Twitter.
But
Pulled it up.
oh, they did. Nice. Okay.
We've got Mirror Herb Ments with Dragon Claw, Dual Wing Beat, and Brick Break. Terra Steel, of course. We've got Sash Miascarada with Skill Swap. That's the Dozo matchup. We've got Water Veil Dozo. It's not. This is a. This is not the unaware set that I thought it would be. This is a Wave Crash Body Press Yawn with Water Veil, which is, I guess, the Arcanine counter. Except you've also got the Clear Amulet Ceruledge, which is also really good into Arcanine. And then the Wide Lens Tech Mousehold with the Play Rough Howl Misty Train Encore Screamtail. This person really hates getting burned.
This is awesome. This is so cool. Yeah, there's so much going on here. Wow.
Hold up, I gotta write this team down. I'm gonna run this at Charlotte Regionals. Watch out.
What is Miascarada skill swapping? Like, what is it taking away?
It's taking unaware from
it's
Dozo.
the Dozo counter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this is
guess.
what
Yeah, it's like
Techno-
skill
We
swap
saw-
with a Terra into a grass resist, and you wanna you take away unaware and do some things. Like you have your
And
men.
you can pass unaware to your Sterilage.
No, or you just like have I guess you're unaware on your Meow or you're unaware on Ceruledge or Salamence or whatever. This is funny. Yeah, this is wild.
You don't even need to be unaware on your Ceruledge. You just need to click bulk up a bunch of times and then skill swap away the Dozos unaware, right? And then you just win.
I think Howl is also really cool. Also, this is something that we were talking about a bit in our just with regards to Regulation C and the Ruin Pokemon and the way that they kind of structure your team. Is that sometimes it might be better to go all physical or all special. And sure enough, this team is just all physical. This is actually just 6 physical Pokemon with a Howl Screamtail to support it all. That's their Ruin Pokemon. It just supports the whole team, makes them do a lot of damage. This team is so cool. This team is actually so cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Brandon, for the for Nightbot. I'm gonna see if it's gonna let you post links because actually people posting links is really helpful. Go ahead.
Basically just the team is sick and it's got a lot of cool stuff going on. Like the Mirror Herb Salamence to be intimidated and also beat King Gambit and also beat Great Tusk because it can just dual wing beat while being a flying type because that's a move that almost nothing has. But Salamence has the 80 base power, 90 accuracy flying move, which is really just all that birds want to do if they don't have Brave Bird.
All right, it's time for the we've done it so many times at events, but it's time for everybody's favorite dual wing beat quiz. I've done it with Nick like 4 times, so I'm not going to make him participate. But mostly, I'm just looking to ask Sempra. Sempra, without looking it up, do you know the 4 Pokemon in this format to get dual wing beat?
There's only 4?
There's only 4.
Okay, obviously Salamence.
Salamence is one.
That's one.
Scizor? Does Scizor get it now?
Scizor, no.
It does
Scizor's
not.
No,
lost.
that would be
He
too good.
lost that.
Scyther
And
would be
Scyther
pretty
would
cool.
actually be playable in this format if it had dual
Yeah.
wing beat, but it doesn't. And
Okay, it doesn't get it. Yeah, if Scissor doesn't get it, I don't.
So here's your hints. One is I almost
Oh, the Talonflame?
No,
No.
Talonflame.
Talonflame would
Talonflame is
too.
good. Yeah, that's crazy.
Talonflame would run it, I think. Especially with the more supportive sets we've been seeing, keeping Gale Wings intact would be pretty nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of them is a Paradox Pokemon. One of them is a two-stage family, and one of them is and so we're not counting the baby one because you would never use it in VGC. And then lastly, one is a funny bird.
they're all Gen 9 Pokemon.
One is a
They're
par-
the last ones after Salamence are all Gen 9 Pokemon.
One's a Paradox. Are there any flying Paradox ones? Oh, is it? No, it can't be the Hydreigon one.
It is
That
not
one doesn't
Jugs.
get it, no.
No. Who could it be? It could be. Is it the? I forget all their names. The past Volcarona?
Yes.
Yes, you did get it.
Okay.
Slitherwing is one of them.
Slitherwing does get dual wing beat.
Wait,
Hey,
is
you said-
Slitherwing not Moth?
Mhm.
Okay.
Wait, what do you think?
Okay.
Yeah,
what?
it's Slitherwing and not Iron Moth. Yeah, it's the physical.
Oh,
one
yeah,
that's not it.
Nerd of Now gave a hint. One of them is a Titan.
well, that
Pokemon
spoils it.
in-game.
A Titan? What's a?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't-
honestly, I don't.
I don't remember
I've
any of the Titans.
There's only one
You said
flying
it's
type
a
Titan.
baby?
Wait, you don't remember the Titans?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember the story at all.
remember the Titans? No.
I don't remember the Titans. You said one was like a baby. Is that what you said?
Well,
It
no,
has
one
an
is.
under Evo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
This
I
Pokemon
don't-
would never run it. It's a electric flying type.
Is it Kilowatt?
Oh,
Well-
is it? Okay, Kilowattrel, yeah.
Yeah, Kilowattrel
Okay.
gets it, and then
That's really random.
lastly is the Titan Bombardier.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's really random. They took it from everyone, though.
Yeah, a lot of the fun Sword and Shield tutor moves got like distributed in such like
Yeah,
a
they
funny
just-
way. Like,
Yeah.
here's another quick one. I'll see if you could. I won't spend too much time on this, but it's just like so much fun to be doing these like, little trivia. Can you know the move Steel Roller?
Yeah.
There's only one Pokemon in this game that gets it.
Does the Zoomerl get it now?
No,
It's got a last gen,
It's got to
but-
be Iron
Yeah.
Treads, right?
yeah, Arigato.
Oh,
It's
nice.
that's just what it does. It's just a steel roller.
It's
It is
the
a
only
Steel
world.
Roller.
That's crazy. It took so many moves away from everyone. That's
That's
really
and, like,
random.
everybody
A lot of
knows
those-
the
A
everybody
lot
knows
of
the
those
answer to
moves
the
were
obvious
just
one, which
really,
is
really strong. And
they were
like,
like really good moves.
yeah,
like
that's
the
true.
Expanding Force is obviously insane.
What do you
They
mean?
just
They
gave
took,
Rising
they took
Voltage.
Expanding Force from things? I didn't notice that. That's
Expanding Force
That's
is definitely
so
still around.
true, and actually leads us right into our next.
no. We got Utrecht before we start talking about that.
Arn.
We can move it around if we want to, but
I know.
yeah, honestly, I liked where I put it. So I think we'll leave it. All right, let's do one more. Nick, can you remember any of the other DLC moves I should look up? Like coaching
Break-
completely
Skitter
gone.
Smack. Flip
Uh,
turn.
Breaker Flip is actually a real move.
Flip turn, there is two Pokemon. I feel like most people are gonna know the flip turn one.
I mean, we know
But
Paladin.
Sempra, can you name the other flip turn Pokemon? There's only two Pokemon to get flip turn.
Does the Zoomerl get it?
No, not
I
Azu.
wish. Oh, that'd be so
I actually
good.
think Azu. I feel like Azu never got
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Azu did not get it last gen either.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Meteor Beam is gone completely, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Iron Bundle.
Oh
It is iron.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It makes more
Yeah.
sense when you say it.
Some of the
Coaching.
most broken ones are like Grassy Glide, Rising Voltage, Meteor Beam, Burning Jealousy. Those moves are all just completely gone.
If
Man,
Glide's
they
gone,
really-
like nothing gets it.
Yeah.
Nothing currently in the game gets Grassy Glide.
Oh, did they take away all of the ones like Mist Explosion and Rising Voltage or stuff like that?
Yeah, okay. Mystic Explosion's definitely not one of the stronger ones, but
I mean,
Maybe that one
it's
is-
also.
I meant the special moves for the terrains. The other one was Expanding Force.
I
Oh.
mean, yeah. There's one
Oh, they
E-Force
just kept
user
Expanding Force. That's really weird. They just only kept Expanding Force for one Pokemon.
for one mon. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this one to anybody, including Twitch chat, if they can. And I think Nick might know the answer, so I'm excluding him again. Can you guys tell me which was the poison type tutor move? Because I feel like everyone forgets it.
Yeah. No. Good luck, Twitch chat.
They can figure it out, but if somebody might cheat and Google it. But yeah, we
No
already
cheating.
got the correct answer.
Good job, Alex. And I believe that Alex didn't cheat.
I believe it. Yeah, Adi, do you know it? Without
No,
looking,
and
or
I've
did
looked
you...
at chat. I have it pulled up. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I would not
what
gonna
is
guess it.
corrosive gas?
What is corrosive gas?
What is that move? Yeah.
It gets rid of your
Great
item,
question.
right? Or is it
Corrosive
ability?
gas. It wipes out the items for every other Pokemon on the board.
It just
Oh,
destroys their
that's like
items.
there's like
It's
a
like
fire
spread
type move that does the same
knockoff.
thing. Incinerate.
It's
Incinerate does the same thing, right?
similar to Incinerate, but Incinerate was berries only, wasn't it?
Oh,
Berries and gems.
oh, weird.
Um, and that it came out in Gen 5 and was like gem counterplay, but wasn't good enough. And then it was actually like almost good enough in Gen 7. Like you didn't run it, but you thought about running it, but they didn't put it in uh like Gen 7. Like we probably would have run Incinerate Arcanine in 2017, but 'cause
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
mean, that was
spread
the
knock off their berries, but
the gen where if you got rid of their item, you dealt 50% was pretty cool. Essentially a super fang. I do have one question though for Alex. Like, wait, why did you have to add corrosive gas to the calc? What did we calculate with it? Uh, it's just funny to think.
Right.
Anyways, we're getting sidetracked here. Let's talk about a couple more of the teams. The other team in the top four was just the team that we saw do well on the ladder, and then Aaron Zhang used it. And so we have an Azumarill here in top 8. That's pretty cool. We have Corviknight, and honestly, wait, this team it's got some of the same guys, I guess. No, it's only got like 3 of the same guys as the top 14. Never mind.
Oh,
And then
this
we
is
have-
Brandon.
But-
He's in chat.
yeah.
sorry, Brandon.
Wait, which one's Brandon?
Sixth place.
Yu Liang Ting. And I pulled up
okay, so
I pulled up his Twitter, and he said I got banned from Top Nation talking about my team.
I'm sorry, Brandon. Oh man. All right. Well, since we have the actual team, right?
Yeah, I pulled it up.
Yeah, we can absolutely talk about Brandon's team.
Okay. So is it? Yeah. This must have been. Wait. Let me look at it. Well, it must have been built with. Yeah. Okay. You gave the initial idea, but built separately. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Because I was like, some of this stuff is too in common to not be. To just be a coincidence. Yeah. This is crazy. I love a lot of the stuff here. Terra Ground on Iron Jugulus for Earth Power. Earth Power is kind of a hard to come by move. There's only a couple Pokemon that can get it. There's like Glimora. There's Sandy Shocks we saw win the tournament. What else are you even doing with Earth Power? Does Hydreigon even get it? I think
Hydreigon gets it.
Dragon gets it.
Okay, Hydreigon gets it. Time for my own testing my own knowledge. There's
Brute
actually
Bonnet
quite a few.
gets it for some reason.
Brute Bonnet. Let's go, Brute Bonnet.
I'm just looking at the list. You got Glimora, which is a notable user.
Arboliva, dope. Rabska, dope. Skeletor, dope.
But yeah.
Guitar, let's go. Bulbasaur, let's go.
And Torkoal, of course.
Oh, and Gastrodon, yeah.
I was avoiding Gastrodon, but yeah.
Gastrodon also gets Scald. You know that?
Wait, what's called?
I said
That is
Gastrodon
a
also
lie.
gets Scald. It gets
That's
Volcanion
a lie.
signature move for
That's
some
gotta be-
reason.
Wait, what?
Gastrodon does not get Scald.
What is he talking about? Is this guy okay?
I don't think he's okay.
Adi?
Just alluding to a future topic. It doesn't actually
Good
get
point.
Scald, but
Oh, now I get you.
yeah.
I also was. It took me a moment, but I'm good now.
Okay.
We've caught up to Adi's jokes. Okay. So yeah, looking at Brandon's team though, otherwise a lot of the stuff here, I think is some stuff we've seen. I like this Corviknight. I think Corviknight's just a very good Pokemon into a lot of the Talon-Tusks teams that can have trouble breaking it. Mental Herb Amoonguss has been proven to do well even in open team sheet, as we saw with Wolf's Run. And then Assault Vest Ceruledge is really cool with the Clear Smog. This one is not the same as the other Ceruledge that got top 4. Clear Smog, Terra Blast, Serial Edge. It's kind of just like a really cool tool into a lot of things, and you get to use that move called Bitter Blade. That Bitter Blade move is so awesome.
That is a really strong move. Just 90 base power on a healing move, like, just goes a lot farther than like Giga Drain or Horn Leech or.
What do you mean? It's just polymorph. It's 90 base power and a healing move.
So true.
This Howl stuff is sick. I think Howl into Bitterblade is so sick. And
Yeah,
then
Howl is awesome.
you live everything from Flutter Mane, you're just OHKOing it back. That sounds so awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Mhm.
Cool team.
And I mean, you can also just like howl pop bomb with Mousehold.
Just sure can.
Just goes crazy. Just OHKOs everything that isn't immune to it. Even like ramping Corviknight without having to click bulk up is pretty cool because it does want all 4 moves. So I guess that's, yeah, let's see. That's we got a couple other teams top 8. We got Nick's team and Sempra's team. Oh yes, both of your teams now. I don't know which variant it is, but that also
It's
got
not my team.
it also got top 8. And then we got a very standard looking team that in top 8 as well. That just is pretty much the balance stuff. It's almost the same. What is this? What Eric Rios used? Is this the same 6? No, he had a bundle.
I have
Almost
to
the
ask
same
about that.
6.
Like, where's Palafin? Like, everyone's using balance, but no Palafin, which is really funny because at the start of the series, it was like Palafin balance everywhere, and now it's balance with no Palafin.
Like, just, I'm not totally sure. Do you guys have any takes on that?
I think that it's Palafin's awkward because obviously it's so powerful and priority is so strong, but it also being forced to switch it out. You don't have to switch it out, but like you need to switch it out at some point, basically, and like
You really want to?
you really want to, but it's such negative tempo that you can get overpowered. I think it only really fits on balance or like hard Palafin stuff, like Gavin's Oceania team that no one else has really seen success with. But it really only fits that because you actually get to force those turns. But I think as people realized how good someone like Justin Tang's team is and started to maybe play test against it, they kind of realized that, hey, we can our offensive game plans can abuse the fact that Palafin is forced to switch out, and Palafin again doesn't have to, but it doesn't exert enough pressure to disrupt those lines a lot of times if it doesn't switch out turn 1. I think a big abuser of that is the Lilycold team that y'all ran, because you really want that fire resist, but then if you have to switch it out, it's not really sitting on the field as a fire resist, and that's somewhere where obviously bundle doesn't actually beat that, but and doesn't isn't a fire resist either, but yeah, like that's one place where like, hey, maybe you need to look at another water type.
You rely on it to be a fire resist, and you don't rely on bundle for that, and so you can construct your team in such a manner that you're not like getting punished for that in your team building process.
Sort of, but also again, like, actually no, Eric had a Goldango too, but this is like very similar to the teams that look like Alex Gomez or like Eric Rios, that all these bouncy teams that finished in top 8 of Utrecht, they'll talk about in a minute, used as well. And so I don't actually know if they it's not exactly a like for like transition, but like a lot of these teams have a lot of the same Pokemon, and so they kind of fit into the same roles.
So we can go ahead and move on to talking about Utrecht, and before we like dive completely into the teams and some of the other aspects of the event, there's like just kind of a concept that I wanted to ask you guys about that we've seen, and you guys were talking about, Gavin's team. Adi kind of made a passing comment when talking about Palafin that like nobody has really used Gavin's team to great success, and that made me think like we've seen some like teams make some really deep runs and not be represented like as like not be like stolen and represented a bunch of other tournaments like Gavin's team and like Alberto's teams that like are very specialized to the player. Specifically, we haven't seen exactly Wolf's Orlando team in events since then, but that example feels a little bit different when you look at Justin Tang's regional winning team, which is pretty similar. And then you have teams like Nails' team, where Nails made a deep run, and then it was like, yeah, let's rip this and go. And then even more people ripped it and went at this event. We saw, it made another deep run, as well as like several representations in day two, I believe. Day
There
two.
were 6 out of 46 people running the exact 6 Pokemon in Utrecht.
Yep. And so I do think it's super interesting that there's still this ability to make teams that are like really like unique, but like maybe hard to understand all the depths, the in-depth things. Otherwise, or another way to look at it is it could have been like a team that was very much a meta call for the tournament, and that the stuff that it was going to be able to be countered in future tournaments. What are your guys' take on this? Like, I guess topic. I guess I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so my first thought on it is that teams have pretty. I think the gameplay is like pretty involved, and you can't like cookie cutter strategy your way through games in a way that maybe you could in some other formats. Like especially for Series 2, it feels like games can be they can be won or lost like very quickly, and so like mistakes get pretty heavily punished. It reminds me kind of the things that I didn't love about restricted format or like Uber's formats in the past, where uh, it was more about not making wrong plays. I don't think it's to the degree that Uber's formats have, but like this was a take that Bravarius was telling me, is that he hasn't played the format very much, and he just saw like he was missing some lines, and um, like after missing a line on a turn, that was just the game, and he didn't have like much recourse after that. And so I think that the skill floor in this format is just quite high to what we usually expect from a regional format. Just because there's like a lot of powerful moves flying around, and um, if your position becomes unstable, then it just gets out of hand quickly.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Adi or Sempra, or like just like talking about like teams that we haven't seen kind of like stolen to great success versus like teams that are, I guess. Otherwise, we can just move on and talk about the teams that we do see succeeding here in Utrecht.
Okay, yeah, and just to follow up on that, like if you're taking someone else's team, you weren't there for the building process, and you don't know, like often you don't have all the EV spreads, which might influence how matchups are supposed to play out. You don't have, you like the player who is winning the tournament with the team. They've put in weeks of practice with it, and probably made a lot of changes on the way to the successful version of their team, and you just weren't present for all of that process, and you kind of have to recreate that process yourself. And I think Sempra did this when using my team. Like he just made the team his own. He figured out the reasons for every choice, and if you're not doing that process, then it's going to be tough to replicate their success, and just pick up their team and use it well.
What do you think? Does that sound accurate, Sempra?
I think it's an interesting take because like you don't use a team because you don't have the information behind it, but then a lot of people will back off a team because the information is so present, right? Like public team report and stuff like that. I just feel like
sure.
it's tough once the teams have been used once. It's like I don't know, people just don't want to. That's what I did, and then luckily I had the top 6 episode that was very useful, and I learned a lot from that, and I did feel like the team was just so amazing off rip, and I don't know why no one was using it. My honest answer to the question is I have no clue, and I don't have.
It's a tough question to ask. Anyway, like one thing that I have said to Nick, like I don't know if I said this in a Tub Takes or not, or like on a stream or anything, but I remember saying to Nick in a call at one point, just like, I am so happy to be out of Series 2 after he released that team report.
Yes.
That's true.
I'm
I've
happy that
been
I'm not having to figure out how to deal with this.
Man, I've been sitting trying to figure out what to use for Charlotte, and it's like, oh man, like this team feels so good, except the Lily Cole matchup is so questionable. It's just like
that's,
either
that's so
every
funny.
like it's just, the worst. Even the best matchups is like, oh okay, well it comes down to sleep turns. It's just like, man, that just feels bad. uh, I don't know. Nah, Nick told me he was reading the format, and then he did. Um,
He really
I,
did.
yeah, I knew what I was doing when I posted the team report of the Broken Sun team. Don't worry, guys, or worry. Yeah, no, I've been around the block a few times. That was a little bit by design. Have fun with it.
Or don't, or have fun playing. Don't
Or
have
don't.
fun.
Yeah, no.
Playing
I think that the guys in Series 3 can handle it, but honestly, maybe they won't. Like maybe just Chiyu over King Gambit just makes it broken.
Yeah, well, only time will tell, I guess.
Send me DMs if you've tested it. I have not tested it that much, and I'm curious.
So, yeah, Adi was talking about sleep powder, and like that was actually one of the first things I noticed, just like here looking at the full top 8, is all teams but one have Spore, which is pretty interesting. Just like, I mean, it's always helpful, and I got to give like a shout out to the people who like make the graphics of the websites, like at Victory Road. When like you line up Pokemon of a certain role or archetype or whatever, it makes it very easy to understand like what people are doing with these teams. For example, like you can see there's 5 Arcanines in cut and they're all lined up. There's a ghost type on every team. You know, in the 5th slot there, Goldango, Mimikyu, or Fluttermanes. Actually, it's kind of funny how they're all in order like that. The Fluttermanes got stopped early, and the Goldangos went deep. Man, like this is so funny to like look at these little stories. But anyways,
the third slot's the fire type slot.
The first slot is just a meatball.
Honestly, it is just the meatball a little bit.
It's the meatball,
Great
except for on Roxas' team where the King Gambit's 4th.
Yeah, King Gambit couldn't be dedicated meatball. Great Tusk took meatball position, priority meatball position.
I mean,
Okay.
They could have fixed
yeah,
it. They just have to put the King Gambits last, and the Dragonites first. Does that work?
I don't know. I think they did pretty well.
Okay.
And then there's water. There's water type in the one slot, mostly bundle, but there was a Palafin. And yeah, so there's so much Spore, there's so much Sleep Powder, and only one team, which did make it all the way to the finals, didn't have it. And I just find that like super just cool to see. We saw there like 4 Dragonites, 3 Roaring Moons. Just a lot of Pokemon. Like I think we're seeing quite a bit of centralization of at least Pokemon. Like there's just so many Pokemon with such great base stat totals. That you see very little like Techmons. Like honestly, like the most like Techmon on like in this like top 8 is Lilligant. I really like.
Yeah. But with that said, there's not like it's centralization around like 20 Pokemon or so.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like
It's a big
usually
pool.
in the past, like centralization means that we all have an Arcanine, or we all have an Incineroar, or we all have a Rillaboom. And there's staples, like there's 5 Amoonguss and 5 Fluttermane, but those are the only mons that are on more than half of the teams in the top 8.
Bundle.
Bundles on 5, yeah. Okay, sure. But there's like established rules, but you can mix and match your favorite choices for those roles. And the sets can have like a decent amount that you can change as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's too bad of a thing. It's just like it's interesting, especially with the way that they're lining everything up. Just seeing all of the Pokemon that are being used across the teams. I mean, like we could definitely see it a bit better if we saw like the actual like usage stats for this. Maybe I could pull up the VGC Paste repository.
A little bit notable that there's no Talontusk in top 8, right?
Yeah, it's funny that
and
love rounds.
and honestly, like, what's the deepest run of Psyspam? That's an archetype that people always like to look at.
There was
Psyspam,
one
Mouse,
Amarug in day 2.
Oh,
Like,
that is brutal.
like
I
Spam,
think.
Mouse Ape,
No, that's
Dondozo
that's
are
that's Dutch. That's
archetypes
Cap.
that,
Is
that
it?
people like to worry about. But like honestly, I'm looking. Dozo didn't even
There's,
make top 16.
there's
Yep.
at least.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, we're not into day two
No,
yet.
there
Okay,
was
now
one
we're into.
Armor in day two.
They really love balancing Europe.
That's
It's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, no, Europe loves to be boring. It is just their whole thing. And like honestly, like power to them. I mean, look at these teams. They all look very well
Man,
rounded.
one Armor,
Uh,
3 Dozo out of 46 teams. That's insane.
I mean,
That's
the
insane.
highest finishing Dozo is 26.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Man,
and
I gotta
don't
go
know
to Europe. This
Well,
shit's
that's
free.
because no, it's because none of the Americans went to win the tournament with Dozo.
Right.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, the American that went to Europe won with Dozo, right? Like,
Mhm.
And we
where's
will see
Mechanic?
some
How did
Americans
he do?
going to Europe for UIC in about 4 weeks.
Um, do we have any other Americans? We had Nils. Nils the American, of course, naturally.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. It is. I don't know. I do feel like. I wonder how much of this is like a regional thing, and how much of this is meta adaptations. Because in like Vancouver, I think there were 2 Dozos in top 8, right? And that's just like kind of what we've seen pretty consistently at events that Americans go to. And then here to see Dozo basically not represented at all is pretty crazy. To see stuff like Spam again not represented at all. When I think at Vancouver, Spam had the highest conversion rate to day 2 out of any
It
team.
did, yeah.
Like in the team report I released today, the guy who got 11th place at Vancouver, Ismail, he faced 4 straight Dozo in day 2. He faced 1 non-Dozo and 4 Dozo straight. Still, so just like I don't know, it's just such a different, and it almost makes me like, it almost makes me want to disregard this, not because I was not in.
Oh boy.
No, not because EU players are worse.
Here
Like
for it.
I was jesting about, but just simply because the metagames are so different, and that like yes, these teams are very good, but like the matchups that they had to play are so different than the matchups that I will have to play a week from now in Charlotte. That it's just
I
like
can't wait for like someone to just like Twitch clip. Like I can't like I just want somebody to like chop it all up for Adi to say like, yeah, looking at the results of this, I just want to disregard it. Oh, man. I mean,
I'm
we
here for
hate on
any take about why
No.
EU results are supposed to be disregarded.
we hate on EU quite a bit on this, only because they throw a lot of they talk a lot of shit anyways, and but I like there's a lot of strong teams here, and it is just I do agree with Rago's take up there where a couple messages ago he said I think any of the top cores can win TVH, and I do agree because like I think somebody was asking earlier like what to watch out for at Charlotte, and it's like I don't really have like I'm not able to like say like this is the one core that's most well positioned going forward right now. I'm saying that like the best player of an archetype is going to win. Like that's what we're going to see. Like Dozo could win as long as you're like an established player that's familiar with the archetype. You could win with balance. You could win with Lilicol. You could win with Spam. I could see anything making a deep enough run as long as it's being piloted by somebody who's very familiar with the team and has the experience. It feels a bit like 2018 at this point, where people like are kind of specializing and are good at a certain style of play, and they should probably stick to it for this last event of the format coming up. I mean, like, there's definitely people that there's also like the angle, like you could consider it kind of like Worlds, or not like maybe Worlds is the wrong comparison, but like this is the last the last tournament of this format, so you could go all out, try to like break the meta in a way that people haven't seen coming at all.
It's a relatively established meta, so I do think that like most of the cards have been played. We've found most of the powerful stuff. You probably, if this is your thing, like you could probably go all in on countering the like top 4 teams or something, and make just like some oddball team that has like 4 really good matchups and then doesn't care about the rest of the field because the rest of the field has kind of just fallen off. Like it's the way the meta is shaped. It's like 20 or so top Pokemon that we're relatively centralizing around. And so if you think,
I don't know if I agree with that. Just because you're looking at the top 8 teams of an 800 person event or 600 person event.
I mean, we were looking at the day 2 teams, and yeah, it's not going to be that centralized all the way through the tournament. But I don't know. I think there's some other viable ways to approach the tournament, but also just I agree with there's no one team that is very clearly the call. The call is to be good at your team and play good Pokemon.
I'm just like, I think that if you do that, you still have to survive rounds 1 through 5, and even day 2, you're going to face some zany stuff. But there's some teams that are pretty out there here. Obviously, there's a bunch of teams that are pretty standard, but there are Palip and Rain, there are Dozo, there is Sparta, Sandy Shocks that did well. There's all this. There's a Belly Bolt. There's all sorts. There's a Meta Jam in top 16. We'll go over the teams in a little bit, but there's kind of stuff that's all over the place. And this isn't Ultra Series where I felt like you're going to a 70-person regional and you could look at the list of people signed up and pretty confidently guess what 50 of those people are going to bring.
Okay, yeah, we did do that. I remember doing that for Knoxville. That was so funny.
Right,
we were 2019 Knoxville, of course.
Yeah, the 2019 Knoxville. It was just man, there's 50 people signed up for this. I'm just going to identify the top players and what they usually use and just say, okay, these are the archetypes I need matchups for. That was so silly.
Right, and it's you can't do that for this event, even though you can look at the top 8 teams and say, oh, yeah, even Vancouver or whatever. You can say, okay, I can probably guess what Wolf is going to bring. I can probably guess what Choppa's going to bring. I can't guess what, the person I faced round 1 through 3 are going to bring, and they may or may not be bringing this team.
So I think Adi's point is shit, and I'm happy to disagree with him because
that's messed up.
Mainly because those are the people that if you consider yourself a decent player, if you consider yourself somebody familiar with your team, and just
if you're trying to seriously compete to win the tournament,
then those are the matchups you skill diff. Maybe you fight the Espathra Shocks that you decided to write off in team building, but maybe they don't know all the right buttons to click because they're running Espathra Shocks. They're not running an archetype that has a very strong... I'm just picking a random archetype to pick on, but maybe it doesn't have a very strong chance to win the tournament. And so I think you're allowed to do what Nick said. It definitely is going to take a lot of work in the team builder. You're going to have to go pretty hard to find something that targets the top 4 or 5 archetypes super hard.
That nobody's found so far. Yeah,
But I think that, at the end of the day, those first, 3 to 5 rounds that Adi is saying, you have to respect all the other random stuff you're going to face. No, you don't. Just beat them. Just win. At the end of the day, you still have 6 Pokemon on your team. It's not like you're running, Regigigas Weezing, where if you queue into some weird thing, it's going to completely disrupt your strategy. You'll still be able to play Pokemon and just, maybe it's a little uphill, but you're not going to just, lose and sign the slip on preview when you don't queue into one of the 5 teams that you targeted.
The one other thing I want to say is that we're still only, 3-4 months into the generation. There's absolutely stuff that people just probably have missed on so far. And so you're just allowed to say that you're gonna build better than them. People are going to keep getting better over time, and you get to if you just have identified something, just live your truth.
That's true. No, I definitely think that this format could be developed on further. I just don't think the way to do that is look at the top 4 teams and try to counter team them when there is just so much other. It feels like there's just 9 or 10 viable archetypes, and they all have such powerful modes that they can steamroll you.
Yep. There's a lot. There's a lot in the format. However, I don't think it's a bad way to try to go out in the last tournament. I think honestly anything that you could tell me for somebody's approach to Charlotte, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah. Last tournament of a format, it's so weird. The is quite established. So I think if you're good with an archetype, I mean, and you say like I'm just gonna go with what I know, I would totally be like thumbs up, man. That sounds awesome. But if somebody was like, yeah, no, the meta's like pretty centralized around these, I'm just gonna target what I think is gonna be common. I'd say like it's gonna be hard to build it, but that does sound like a tournament winning strategy. And so I think that you can't really go wrong with either of those approaches, but you just got to do what's best for you, and that's like a really cheesy like cop out answer. But I think that we've talked a lot about like I think that's like what a lot of people ask for, so at least I don't feel bad spending time. Like people are like, what to expect going to the next tournament and stuff, and but I guess we could talk about specifically some of the stuff that we saw at this tournament. I mean, this tournament was huge. It was 536 Masters, I think it says, and I'm curious if that was the biggest European regional level tournament. I'm not sure. They've had nationals back in the day. They had this is a special event versus regionals, but I think this thing's still because this is open entry, free entry. It's sold out. Like I'm curious.
Very
if
quickly
that's the
too.
biggest one. If anybody knows, let me know. But anyways, Eric Rios won this thing. Pretty crazy. Like just how consistent Eric is. Has really just risen to be like one of the GOATs. Definitely the strongest player in Europe right now, I would say. And
Yep.
I feel bad for counting them out after like the one event that they've had over there. Like no, they've had two. Anyways, but yeah, you shouldn't be counting out Eric. Just give him some good Pokemon, and he will play some good Pokemon. Like you look at his team, it's not too surprising. But then again, Eric was winning back-to-back tournaments with like Rinya Sun, and was just like showing why if you know your team in and out, you can just player diff anybody as long as you're running a good set of Pokemon. And I don't think anybody could disagree with me in saying that these are 6 strong Pokemon.
Notably, you said you were going to count him out after the last event. He got 9th. I didn't realize this. He got 9th at Bacchum with the exact same team.
Okay, there you go. See, and then he's using something that he knows,
Yeah, he just bubbled top cut at that event.
Consistency is crazy.
Yeah.
Eric Rios is insane, man. I think it's so awesome. I only found out like right now how amazing he was in Series 12. Winning with Brinya.
Yeah.
This guy's so good. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you guys said, he really makes like just bring a good team and understand your matchups. He really shows that you can win anything.
You count this dude out. He top cut Liverpool regionals too. He went 8-1 with the
Okay, you know what?
with the
Honestly,
most base team in the format that Nails and I built.
Oh boy. Yeah,
I had to bring that up. He did steal our team for Liverpool.
I forgot that he did use treasure stuff at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, no, this guy's still making incredibly deep runs. I guess you know what? It's just because Eric. I'm one. My brain is so NA focused that I don't remember the results of European tournaments, so I'm sorry about that one. That's on me. But the other thing is maybe I'm also secretly holding him to just such a higher standard that even like top 8 and bubbling cut is just not enough. And seeing him win is just kind of the expected result. Jokes aside, though, like Eric is just incredible, and like looking at the team choices here, I think the only thing that we could even like take a moment to say like, oh, is the bundle set just opting out of using Icy Wind, instead using Encore. That's relatively notable, but otherwise, this is just like he gave himself the tools for the job, and is going to do his best to figure out how to break down your team with this sandbox of good Pokemon.
I forgot he top cut Worlds too. He did that too.
Yeah, no, I did remember that. That was a really cool team as well.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far. It was Rinya San.
Wait, what?
He top cut
you're talking
2022 Worlds with Rinya San. He also top cut 2019 Worlds with a cool team.
That team was. I thought you were talking about 2019. That team was cool.
No, he's cut back-to-back Worlds. Dude's insane.
Yeah. So much so that I don't think we're adding anything new by. Yeah, we can just say Eric Rios.
Yes, what was the last tour that he didn't cut? Or day,
Bacum, we got 9th.
or day 2.
Was Bakum a day 2 event? It was, right?
Yeah, it was day 2.
I'm saying that in jest.
Anyway, let's talk about Aurelian Sola here in second. Also been doing really well this season. I think Aurelian made it to top 16 at OCIC. I don't remember. I don't think Aurelian made it into
he got top 16.
top 8. Okay. So doing really well. With again, it is so hard to say anything about these.
This is
top
just
8 teams.
Kyle's team, isn't it? Is it?
It really might be. I remember Kyle used mouse full.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're talking about Kyle Livinghouse from
Animus.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm pretty
Animus.
sure this is.
Yeah.
This
From
is
North
it's just
America,
a sim.
Alex.
from
Yes,
Orlando.
North American player.
I meant what tournament?
Yeah, this is the same 6 that Kyle used.
It wasn't at Orlando though.
No, Kyle did not. Yeah, he did. Oh, okay, yeah, it's the same 6
But from what tournament?
from Orlando.
Orlando?
Yes, from Orlando. You're right.
I was like,
It is.
somebody, please.
It is mon for mon, item for item, the same team.
That's kind of cool. Something so showing that it still works. Otherwise, yeah, I guess probably don't have anything to add on that one. Marco using Mimikyu. That's an interesting one. It's got Curse. Yeah. Otherwise, like, what is there to say?
That one's also a very
you
popular team. It's just all balance.
This whole top cut is just like Lilycole and one balance, or like all balance in one Lilycole team. I mean, Owi's team, who we'll get to, is a bit different. Alex,
Snore.
just good Pokemon.
Just good Pokemon. That's all there is.
I'm just like trying to like scroll through because like I think when you have a giant collection of balance teams, you were supposed to like identify the interesting choices that they've made that make the team stand out as opposed to just like a cookie cutter like set on each of the Pokemon. And Alex has one. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, as much as we're like saying, oh, it's more balanced, like all of these players definitely had to like polish their own version, make it their own, and like the choices are different, and the EV spreads are surely thought out for at least most of the months, and it's not turning up our noses at it. It's just it's hard to at a glance point out what makes each team unique.
Yeah, and with Alex's team, it's got the Morning Sun Arcanine. We see Snarl and E-Speed kind of compete for the move slot there. And Alex said none of the above. Morning Sun sounds pretty cool right now, and I gotta agree, that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. Safety Goggles makes it an even more annoying Pokemon for Lilycole, I suppose.
Interesting to see that it's Terragrass Goggles. Usually
That too, yeah.
Usually on my Arcanines I go for one of Terragrass or Goggles, and I default to Grass if I'm not Goggles. Like I have Goggles on something else, or I just want a different item. But he opts for both of them, and
well, by no means it's a bad type to have on the Pokemon. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with Nick's approach.
I'm interested in it. Like that's about all I have to say about it.
I think if you are saying it's an important part of your Dozo matchup, then you want to like just intimidating it down. Then you need to be Terra Water or Terra Grass, and with the rise of the Terra Blast, Terra Grass Dozos, it kind of makes sense to be Grass even with the goggles. So.
Sure. And like you don't want to tear it in the balance mirrors, and so the goggles is like very vital there. So you're just saying, that you want goggles and sometimes want to be grass, and
and grass types still take Hail Chip, so safety Goggles keeps you safe there.
It's just Grass type. That's how it works.
There is no Hail Chip, you silly guys.
No. Sorry, Grass types take Snow Chip. My bad.
There is no Snow Chip.
Oh sure.
Sempra keeping us honest.
Am I missing the joke? Did I miss a joke?
Yes.
Oh, I did miss a joke. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's all right. We do a little trolling as they say, the shark gif. Okay. Moving on to the next team. I think what's really notable here is Wanma went 13-1. Have we seen a 13-1 at any of these day 2 tournaments yet?
I don't think we have.
I think this is like the first one. I feel like it is.
They've done some 13-1 at some internets, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like not the first time in history. I just mean
at the day 2 regionals, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel somewhat confident that this is the first one.
Yeah. So honestly, congrats to that. Like that's super awesome accomplishment. Unfortunate to go out top 8, considering that you made such a deep run. I would not be surprised if to learn if it was a rematch. Actually, can somebody Nick? Do you know the what's that like one website that gives you all the
Data.ovh?
Yeah, that one. Could you check that to see if it was a rematch? I'm just curious.
Yep, I'm loading it up.
And so looking at the team, though, otherwise this is kind of I think this is almost like exactly what Luca Paz had been running. I just kind of credit Luca Paz with running the Roaring Moon over Gothitelle kind of balance type team. Who he made a deep run at Knoxville with that. But otherwise, this is just 6 standard Pokemon. Dragon Dance Roaring Moon is different than the Tailwind ones. We've seen some Dragon Dance in this cut, and Specs on the Flutter is a common choice on this, but it's just, that's where they landed on it. Could have been Booster Energy, could have been Sash. But Bulky Flutter is just so strong that I wouldn't be surprised to hear if it had a lot of bulk.
It was not a rematch against their loss. Their loss was round 8. They lost to Eric Rios, and they beat Eric Rios in round 11. But their round 14 and 15 were both against Aurelia and Sola. So
it was a rematch.
It was a rematch, just not against the person they'd lost to.
No, for sure. That's what and that's why I was trying to say is because they finished 13-1, it just felt so likely that they were going to be playing a rematch and cut because they were playing against top seeds all day. And so Aurelia and Sola winning it in the rematch. Not surprising. I can't say I know too much about the specific matchup between the two teams. It's just looking at all of these teams in Top Cut, just balanced teams. I can't imagine anything is too one-sided. Although I think there, not to get too into the thick of it, there was a tweet from Marco Fierro saying that his team didn't have a matchup for Arcanine Amoonguss, Iron Hands, Goldango, and I was just like, that's just 4 Pokemon. How can you not have a matchup to 4 of the Pokemon? What?
Yeah, that was really funny.
That tweet was just I can't beat Incin plus Amoonguss. It was just what? Huh? I'm sorry, but that's where you start. That's what? How did we end up here?
Okay, you say that's where we start, but then the entire tournament lost to it. So
Yeah.
It wasn't just him.
It does feel a bit funny to not have a matchup against a Form Encore, and have that come up enough to tweet about it. Yeah,
and have it come up so late in the tournament. I guess
it can definitely happen, but yeah, it's.
It looks like,
and sometimes you just get put in the blender, but
looks like
that's not how I team build of trying to respond to Form Encores is, and so just it's a funny perspective.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I jumped ahead down to 10th place to see when was the next instance of that core of Pokemon, and funnily enough, 10th place Lorenzo had the same 6 as Eric, but opened it for a surprise.
What's the surprise?
Well, I'm waiting for you to open it.
I've opened it.
Wait, okay. You don't find that a little bit strange?
That it's what? Dragon Dance Moon? Or is there another thing that I should be looking at?
Yeah, maybe not the Dragon Dance on the...
Stomping Tantrum?
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's Stomping Tantrum, Terra Ground.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Look at this. This is a very weird mood. It literally, this looks oh yeah, boring, standard, boring, standard, boring, standard, and then it's just what? Hold on. So, you tried to pull a fast one on me. You wanted me to just expect that, after looking at your 5 boring Pokemon, that I would just think this is an Acrobatics Roaring Moon.
They
Terra
expected
normal
a boring
Mungus.
moon.
It's not boring.
I don't know. Okay.
Um,
I'm not surprised that it's not acrobatics. Stomping Tantrum is a little strange. But I do think that
So-
Clear Amulet or Lumberry is the better version of Roaring Moon right now. That's my hot take going into Charlotte.
That's Adi's take. That's his top take.
Something we've like the Terra Ground and the Dragon type is something we've seen a decent amount of. Whether it's and like honestly, it's just kind of closed team sheet ladder cheese where they'll have some mods and they'll reject team sheets and then they'll lead the Murkrow Roaring Moon and it'll just click Terra Ground Earthquake and you'll be like, ah shoot, I wasn't expecting that, and it's a stab Ground Earthquake coming out, and like that's something that you see. The Terra Ground Stomping Tantrum is a bit more surprising.
Well, I mean,
Not
the
sure.
team doesn't exactly have the Earthquake partners.
It doesn't. Aside from like all the protects, which sometimes are enough, sometimes aren't. But
Roaring Moon often comes in as the like solace for these teams against Great Tusk clicking big damage into everything. But
not when it's Terra Ground.
Not when it's Terra Ground. Okay, let's jump back up though and talk about what's there to say about Antonio's team at 6th place, Roxon. In his
Best team in the tournament.
Wow, that's a brand new team. I've never seen that one before. Really innovative. I think it's time. I think it's time to call it Roxon's team.
Did Roxon run Terra Ground on the Tusk?
No, he had. I mean, I guess he did. They presumably ripped it. I do think Terra Steel is the right way to run your Tusk. Shout outs to Sempra for that one, but yeah, I like Terra Ground is still doable. It's still like valid.
He made some changes, right? He had no protect on Dragonite, which is a little different.
Yeah, he had Talent, and Talon's also a cool tech.
Was that a Sempra change or was that just new?
No, that's
No,
internal.
yeah.
Wait, sorry, Sempra. Wait, did you have Tailwind?
No, I didn't. I like protect.
Okay, yeah, no, I stand by it. Like, I think that's fine. I was just curious. Okay. Then we have Julio's team. One thing that Julio has been doing, Julio's been running stuff like this, but one thing that Julio's been doing that's different than the rest is that is a lonely ape, whereas its little partner in crime, Mouse, doesn't have one.
Where's the Pin Missile Iron Thorns? I don't get it. The superior.
I mean, this literally doesn't have Bullet Seed. Okay, this was a tangent, by the way. This is like talking about Regulation C, just a casual ladder game. The other day, I played against a Terra Steel Annihilate next to an Amoonguss, and the Amoonguss side bullet seeded and hit it 5 times, and I was like, what the heck? Loaded dice, bullet seed, Amoonguss to proc the ape. This is a genius. They don't even have Mouse. And then I hit the Amoonguss down low, and then it ate its Citrus Berry, and I was just like, what are you... you just got 5 hits!
Yeah, high rolled nerd.
Listen,
They
did I build a team that had Annihilate with Bullet Seed Amoonguss and Rock Blast Garganackle? Yes. Was it good? Absolutely not. I'm just
but yeah, that was just the story from ladder, but it bothered me so much because I was just like, wow, I mean, it was closed team sheet. I didn't see the loaded dice coming, but then it just wasn't even tight. Anyway,
Dragonman's Tyranitar is kind of funny.
DD Tar with Lum, I like that. We've got a QD Volk, no protect on it. And then otherwise, we got Mental Herb Shroom with the Light Bulb. We were talking about this the other day in the Terra type tier list stream, but Julio's been running Terra Electric Amoonguss, and he stands by it. He ran it at OCIC, and he's still doing it. So, I mean, comfort pick maybe. Yeah, I still don't get it. Go off.
So, like, the Mental Orb and the Terra Electric has to be anti-Talonflame, right? Like, you don't get taunted, and you don't get Brave Birded, and you just get to Spore stuff. And
you just get Headlong Rushed. Like, I don't get it. I know that every type in the game has a weakness. But
there's Booster Bundle to not get Headlong Rushed.
You're right. Okay.
We're being chillin'.
Quick shout out to Iron Nemesis with the raid. Thank you guys. We're in the middle of talking about the top teams from Utrecht before we preview Charlotte later. And if you guys are just getting here now and want to catch up on what you might have missed, this is going to be up on YouTube in a couple of days. But anyways, bringing it back to talking about Julio's team, I guess we haven't talked about it enough, though, is this the solo ape. It's not running leftovers. It's running Citrus Berry. It's otherwise running like the standard set that we've seen Terrifier with the moves. But I think it's fine. I think that it is still a Pokemon that if it gets enough bulk ups up, you're going to have to hit it, take it down, and that's when the Rage Fist starts kicking in instead of, this immediate payoff of beat up.
Dylan, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Welcome to Sub Nation, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
okay. For what it's worth,
you guys have anything to add on Julio's team? Howdy, go ahead.
No, I think that Mousehold it's like very oppressive. When you have Annihilate by the team, there are certain teams that you can Mousehold Annihilate through. But it definitely doesn't feel very powerful to lead. This was a team that I was like strong with. Mousehold Annihilate was a core that I was strong considering for Charlotte. And I just did feel like it was really hard to set it up the way you wanted to, but Annihilate still felt very strong. And so it is cool to see it do well without being forced to run the Mousehold, where Mousehold doesn't actually support the Annihilate that well other than beating it up. Whereas Amoonguss is like the ideal partner because it does like... It's a bulky Pokemon. It really does appreciate the Citrus Berry, in my opinion, more than the leftovers. You can pull and puff it back up. I really like these the Amoonguss Annihilate core as a core to beat a lot of teams. And you get to run all the support Pokemon and not just Pokemon that work in the Mousehold. So I really like how this team is built.
I was looking to see what was the deepest mouse ape, and it looks like there was just one in day 2 at 43rd place.
The Canadian, it's Nate.
Yes, it is Nate. Yes. Also, every time I forget to open the Top Cut Explorer. Top Cut Explorer set up for this tournament, it is dope. So I could have looked at it there. But anyways, yeah. Where is Annihilate? 2? Oh, is it set up for...
Wait,
what? Yeah, no, that's actually not the only 2.
The 2.
There's the one Mouse Ape and the one. Yeah, there's only 2 Annihilate in all of day 2. There's one Mouse Ape and one not Mouse Ape, and it's not like Final Gambit. It's just another bulk up Rage Fist set. Yeah, Pokemon is so crazy, so interesting. Anyways, okay, let's go ahead and talk about the last team in top 8, and then we'll kind of just pick any interesting teams in day 2 before we move on to talking about Charlotte and wrapping things up. So we have Oi's team. Oi decided that instead of using the cringe Amoonguss, Oonga Boongus was the pick here. Also, it actually has the nickname. Adi probably knows which one this is. What language is it?
Fungo Furioso. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. It's either Italian or Spanish, I think.
You were the one that was looking at Brute Bond's other language names the other day, so I thought maybe you knew. But yeah, Fungo Furioso is a fire name. Yeah, this one's actually Double Dark Spore Protect. So I think one thing that Oonga Boongus has going for it with the Citrus Berry is that it has a variety of sets it can run. And it's a very interesting Pokemon that way. It can fill a couple of different roles for your team. We saw, one with Pollen Puff get second in Orlando from Ashton Cox. We've seen several offensive ones with like Loaded Dice or Booster Energy. This one's a bit of a mix of both. It's got the Sucker Punch, but it's also got the Citrus Berry to keep itself around. It's a really cool Pokemon.
It's got so many stats.
It does have so many stats. I mean, like, Amoonguss is like a Pokemon that's so incredible. What's Amoonguss's BST? It's
535, I think. 534,
what?
something like that.
Wait, hold on. Adi, what are you're talking about Amoonguss here?
Is Amoonguss not in the 530 something?
Adi, you want to know exactly how much you're off? I'm going to go ahead and grab out a little calculator here. 535 minus...
It's 464.
464.
Okay. Damn.
Adi was off by 70 stats. Do you think... Nick, how would you distribute Amoonguss's 70 extra stats? Where do you want to put it?
You put it in speed, of course. You give it based on 100 speed stat.
Well,
Not
no,
base 100. You give it a base 101.
you probably just go. It's like not that far off of Cresselia at that point. Maybe you shuffle some of the attack into defenses. We can get this guy up to Cresselia bulk. Keeping the base 30 speed.
Oh, also, was the ban on dragonflies a bad one? By the way, I didn't know if that person was actually.
They were spamming, and they also like DM'd the Tub Nation account with the same message they'd been spamming in chat. I timed them out for 10 minutes, and they just kept doing it.
That's. Oops. I thought that was just an auto mod thing.
Nope, no.
Sorry to laugh at you.
That was intentional.
Okay, I wanted to. I was gonna say like if the bot's acting up, we should just turn it off for the stream.
No. That was me banning them because they were being.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do like one of those cool when you're like a big time streamer, do like one of those ban appeal streams. Anyway, let's keep things moving though. Talking about Always team. This one has a. We were talking about where to put Amoongus' extra stats, but yeah, Amoongus. Adi, you were just. I'm sorry, man. I know that the mod has a low. It's got a low BST. It's obviously still very strong, and the main thing is that it doesn't have a speed stat, which is kind of a.
It's a hack.
Yeah, like it's a weird BST. Yeah, hack. I guess is probably the best word to use for it. But yeah. Talking about other things on the team, this is a choice band Terra Flying, Terra Blast, Dragonite, which I think is pretty interesting, pretty different. Otherwise, it's the no Hydro Pump Iron Bundle that we've seen a little bit of, and a choice specs Terra Water, defensive Terra Water on the Fluttermane, I guess, just not wanting to take the weaknesses to Fire and Steel. Or fire and ground when the team already has a couple of fire and ground weaknesses, and
Makes
water
sense.
may be paired a little bit better.
Who doesn't like flare blitzing a Fluttermane? You know, it does make sense.
Yeah, and then you just resist it. It's awesome. Okay.
It is notably the same 6 as Alex Gomez, except with the Brute Bonnet instead of the Amoongus.
Sure enough. Huh, yeah. Did Alex Gomez have... No, pretty different.
No, they're different teams, but it is the same 6, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
So there were... Those teams are boring. I didn't want to talk about them. Alex made me talk about them. The cool teams are in top 16. Everyone based finished top 16. It's so sad. I think I want to talk about Christian's team. I think is very cool. Moritz's team is very cool. Edu's team is very weird, but I don't think it's very good. I think he just like kind of player diffed his way up to top 16. But I know he's been streaming with it too. But yeah, I want to talk about the 12th and 13th place teams.
Yeah, let's go into them. Let's start with the 12th place team from
Christian's team is wild.
Christian. Okay, so a standard Meowscarada, a Goggles on a relative.
Wait, you went through that one way too fast. You acted like Meowscarada was standard. We have not seen this mon since Series 1.
Yeah,
it completely fell off.
It did fall off pretty hard when it used to be the top of the speed food pyramid tier list thing, and then they released Bundle and Fluttermane, and then also like booster energy on a number of Pokemon in the Flutter, and then Meowscarada had to watch as they sailed over its head, and was like, oh, okay, but we saw it do well in Taiwan, and knock off the kind of extra move of choice here, I guess. Is knock off the extra move? I don't know. They usually opt for one dark move, I feel like. And so just having both there, relatively interesting. A standard Garganackle with the Terra
I can't believe
Bug.
they dropped Skill Swap. The most important.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where's the skill swap?
Well, they got Curse and Mimikyu instead, so it's all right.
Curse Mimikyu with Protect. Mimikyu not often known for running Protect just because it's kind of got a built-in front-loaded Focus Sash as an ability. Safety Goggles on that normal-ish set. I think Gavin ran the same Baxcalibur otherwise. And then a support Volcarona and a booster energy Terra Grass, Terra Blast, Sandy Shocks.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say I know what this team is doing besides, like, it has Garganackle to fall back on and is otherwise spamming some strong priority moves with a bit of speed control.
I think this shock set is really cool, for what it's worth.
Mhm.
I think that's what it's doing, or that's how it's being like balanced teams. Is you're just like hitting it with this coverage and not getting spored or redirected is generally really solid. As for the rest of the team, I couldn't tell you either.
It looks like Maluka, like if you take Maluka made it Series 2 team.
That is actually a very good point, huh? Yeah,
Yeah, it's got the
it's got
guard paths.
four of the same Pokemon. Take out the Tauros and take out the Goldango. Add in a Volcarona and a Sandy Shocks. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. That one completely slid by me. Just it's been so long since I've seen Maluka's, winning team that I thought it was completely faded out. Uh,
Only
okay,
has
so,
one paradox, and that's the Sandy Shocks.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you just pick the best Mon for the job. In this case, it was Sandy Shock.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this other one because it gets even crazier.
So a couple days ago, my friend Don Check DM'd me saying, "Are you using Metacham on ladder?" Because and I was like, "No," because I get to get a Metacham for my Malamar game set. But and he was like, "Are you the person using Metacham on ladder?" He's like, "No, it's this crazy Metacham Glamora team in the 1800s on Showdown," and we know who it is now.
This is awesome. I mean, Metacham Glamora, it's got cool priority moves in Feint, Bullet Punch, and Fake Out too. And those are all moves that can be used to side proc your Glamora's Toxic Debris if you want to guarantee that the Toxic Spikes get set up. The Glamora is running a Energy Ball is usually a poison type move in Mortal Spin or Sludge Bomb. But yeah, a cool Glim here. Otherwise, specs on the Flutter, relatively standard, a relatively standard Moon with Breaking Swipe over a Throat Chop. Yeah, Goggles Arcanine and a solid support Rotom Wash. This Metacham is funny though. I'm wondering how much work it put in. This is like one of those type of Pokemon that like is just on the outside of what people are expecting to be facing and might not exactly have a matchup for, or have a planned approach for it.
I mean,
Yeah, like it's fast enough that it could just give you some problems.
Terra Steel Bullet
Terra
Punch,
Steel,
pretty good. Does damage. It hits you can hit the bundle and you can hit the Fluttermane and just hit them both. Hit the
yeah,
It resists the close combat from Tusk, which is maybe a concern, maybe not. And then it also hits the I don't know, it hits a lot of the common ones right now. Can Gambit, Feint's
yeah,
pretty
Rotom
cool.
Wash, not a mon that we see a lot. But Terra Poison, it just walls Great Tusk. Have seen some Terra Fairy on it, and this is similar enough to that. It just looks like it's relatively offensive stuff, and it's trying to, yeah, just trade hits better. And like, props to Moritz for getting there, or like having an 11-3, or no, the top 10-4.
Mhm.
Yeah, good performance.
Um,
I don't really know what to make this team other than it's just trying to trade hits.
yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna quick scroll through the rest of the teams. We see the Belly Bolt team, but that's I think just the same thing that Kutash was running. Pato ran a Gyarados, that's kind of different, and then also there's a Salamence on the team above from Roberto Parente.
Yeah.
Um,
Got to give
then,
a big shout out to my boy Nate Wright coming back to VGC after a couple years, and immediately getting day 2 at
Also,
European
shout
Regional.
out to Apple Pie. Apple Pie coming back, got 11th. That's pretty awesome. I think Apple Pie
Had a
was saying
nice
something
win,
like he was
3-1.
the defending champ or something.
Yeah.
Um,
He won the 2020 Netherlands special event, I think.
then we finally get down to the 26th place team, the best finishing Dozo from Jamie Gonzalez, and then Corbinite from Pari. I think Anosh said he had something to do with that team building process. It's something similar to what he's been cooking. Let's see.
25th place, we've got my smart money pick. Gotta give a shout out to my guy.
Oh yeah. I remember from last week. I don't remember if I actually ended up picking anybody.
My smart money pick was Desu, which is very sad because he had to leave early because he had to catch a flight before day 2 ended.
Man,
He was
That's
8-1 after
tragic.
day 1, and then he had to drop at I think 9-3. I think so. He said.
yeah, I'm checking the document.
I was
didn't write
wondering
down
what
the
happened
time
because he got to 9-2 and then finished 9-5, and I was just
No, he had to leave.
Dang. It's why it's important to do your research when you're making the smart money pick.
Yeah, check.
Sometimes you
Ask them
actually-
what time their flight is.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes they might not even be going, or sometimes you might end up in Audi spot where they're leaving early. They can't even win the
did-
tournament.
he did bubble into top 32 points at least, though.
Hmm.
Extra 10 points there.
Yeah, otherwise, and then finally Spam down here in 40th place, as well as Mouse Ape down in 43rd, from the one Canadian at the tournament, as Adi had mentioned. Okay, so with that, I think that's gonna wrap it up for Utrecht. Not quite wrapping it up for Series 2 though, as there is one more tournament. And before we get to talking about Charlotte, we just had a brief little thing that we wanted to mention here, which was some funny news. I think this happened or came out sometime in the last week. We're a little bit late on it as nature of us always recording on Monday and streaming on Monday or whatever. But the ladder is kind of messed up right now, and you make sure to keep that in mind while you are trying to test in game. Another reason to say that Showdown is better, besides all the other numerous reasons that I don't even need to mention. But yeah, you can see there in this image, expanding force on Hatterene at 0.2% usage. And that's just like, huh? Hatterene can't have expanding force. The only Pokemon, as we mentioned earlier in the stream, is Armarouge. Armarouge is the only Pokemon that can have expanding force legally. Well, apparently the legality checker is using Sword and Shield learn sets for the Pokemon that are from previous generations, I believe.
Mhm.
And so you can hack in some pretty atrocious things like Dual Wing Beat Dragonite, expanding force on all of your psychic types, and what have you. And it will go onto the ladder just fine. I don't know if this is going to need, it's probably going to need a patch before this gets fixed. And don't start worrying about people bringing this to tournaments. It's not going to pass the.
It will not pass a manual hack check.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to call your judge on an opponent if they show up with something with a move that something's not supposed to get. But yes.
Absolutely.
The bigger concern is that, like I mentioned earlier, Japan and Korea nationals qualifiers are starting in April. And there's 3 tournaments, online tournaments, that are going to decide who gets to actually compete at the next stage of the competition. And if this doesn't get patched, there is nothing stopping someone from queuing up with that. Again, there's a chance, we haven't had that announced, that there might be championship points on the line for us as well. But I would really hope, at least for the sake of the Japanese and Korean player bases, that they don't have to go in playing in a metagame where stuff like expanding force Hatterene is somewhat legal, and a bad actor
People can
could
use it against
easily
you.
surprise people and try to qualify using that, and there's no real recourse for that because there's no judges or a hack check in a online competition.
Yeah. And so, in my opinion, the best way for this or the most likely way that we can get this resolved is for people to abuse it on the ladder and have enough people complain about it. So if you want my tips about what to use, I think Dual Wing Beat Dragonite is really insane. It's like Terra Blast, except you don't have to Terra for it. I think that Rising Voltage on Pincurchin can just let you use all those future Paradox Mons and also have a real Pokemon setting your terrain. What are some other ones?
Minimize Chansey.
If it gets Minimize Chansey is just going to make people mad, which actually does really effectively accomplish the goal. Fair enough. Lash Out on Tyranitar, that move is low-key really cracked. If you get intimidated, it's 150 base power on that turn. So have a good time with that one. Um,
Surely,
uh, I
Scald
don't condone
Gastrodon is
hacking.
viable.
Yeah, but that's a Gastrodon. I mean, just using Scald on like anything else is also just gonna be.
That's also true.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
though all the good water types are Gen 9.
What do you mean? Vaporeon
as
is
much
right
as
there.
I don't, as much as I don't condone hacking, this is, um, like, this is something that does need to be patched before, online tournaments come out, and so it's just a problem that needs to be fixed, and I hope that they fix it.
How does this even happen, yo? How does this even get by?
This is what we
Right,
call
right.
lazy programming.
Yeah.
They just straight up used the Gen 8 list of legal moves and like copy and pasted it into Gen 9.
I know it's so funny how it gets by. That's crazy. They can just Banning Force Hattern.
Yeah.
Like the vibes for Scarlet and Violet is that the games were extremely rushed,
Yep.
as evidenced by lack of live competition. The games just generally lacking polish. Like they're not bad, but they're not good. And like they were really glitchy. And this is just another example of not enough care being put into the process.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully we do see something about this. Um, yeah, we got to put some calcs on the stream for Abe to know that we're looking at rising voltage from the stupid Pincurchin. That's like the one that makes me like most sad. It's like they could have made Pincurchin's signature move rising voltage, and like it wouldn't have been broken, but it would have been like more fun to like use Quark Drive teams.
What do you mean? Pincurchin was the 50% cut rate Pokemon in Series 1. It was the best Pokemon in Series 1. Of course, it doesn't need a signature move. It'd be too good.
God.
they really could have given that guy Volt Switch too.
They could have given... Okay, Volt Switch would have been crazy. That would have been sick.
I think that Rising Voltage would be better than Volt Switch on it, but
Volt Switch would have been awesome. Okay, let's
wait,
go
one
ahead.
more thing. My pet theory, that's what's going to happen. As far as I know, at Japanese and Korean tournaments, they were not allowing Trick Room and DD. So it's TPCI that's decided that's legal, and TPC has not officially made any statements. I want to go back to Taiwan and see if the Taiwan regionals had any Trick Room and DDs, but I feel like it was illegal.
Didn't Tainan have Trick Room and DD? I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay, so maybe it was. Let's see.
Like Tainan did the first regional.
Oh, this
Brandon Ting, are you in the chat?
the Ndidi did not have Trick Room from Tainan. The least that got first place.
Interesting.
So I'm looking for the other one, but what's this one?
Yeah, they don't have Trick Room. That's weird.
Yeah, so I think that TPC is, at least from what I've heard, Japanese tournaments do not allow it, which means that if that's the case, and TPC has to go and make a list of moves, or like has to just say like, hey, these Pokemon should be getting these moves, you have to remove from Battle Spot. I would think the Trick Room Medidi is also on that list of Pokemon that's not supposed to get that move, and it will have it removed from Battle Spot. In which case, there's a non-zero chance that at some point randomly in the next 3 weeks, we're going to get a patch that removes Trick Room Medidi's legality from Battle Stadium, which would also make it illegal for us at regionals. That's unconfirmed. That is just speculation, but I think there's a non-zero chance that you roll up to a regional, you're prepping for EUIC, and then 3 days beforehand there's a patch where it's like, actually, Trick Room Medidi is not allowed.
My thoughts about this are, since TPC runs Worlds, right? Is Ndidi going to be illegal for Worlds after being legal for the entire season for us, but not for Japan?
That is such a funny question.
Whose rule set trumps?
That is such an awesome
I
question.
think TPCI runs Worlds, right? It's not TPC.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a good. This is the first time we've had something like that, right? That would be really interesting to find out.
I think Cards has had some stuff like this, where there, I think there was a promo Tapu Lele,
The Lele.
that shuffled around damage counters on your opponent's board, and the card was like really good, in the format. Not like every deck runs it, but like made one or two archetypes like a lot better. Like there was a spread damage deck, and shuffling around damage counters allows you to like take a kill or two. And this card was like only legal for it was like only printed in Japanese. But like I don't remember what the solution was. So I guess this was bad to.
I thought there was something
Yeah.
super scuffed. Like they didn't really announce anything, so they used it in day one and then weren't allowed to use it in day two.
That sounds correct. But like it just wasn't printed in other languages, so you could never have considered using it in English. But some Japanese players did roll up with it for day one. Anyways, we got word from Brandon Ting in Twitch chat. It's legal in Taiwan, but like closed team sheets, so it's hard to check for lists.
And notably, there were 0 in DD in top 16 of the Taiwan regional. So we really will never know. But also, if there's 0 in DD, then I feel like that means it was illegal, right? Like people wouldn't.
Maybe
Someone has to
legitimately
run
people-
size spam.
Someone was they were worried about it, as mentioned in the chat. Okay, so we're running a bit long here, and we have one last thing to get to, which is the preview. We don't have a ton to talk about with it, besides making sure that we show our little meme, which we've already tweeted, and talk about I guess like what to expect. I think we talked a lot about what to expect from like the past tournaments and stuff, so we can skip that part. But right now, we're rating this tournament a 5 out of 5 Bobcats. I asked Gina, I was like, yeah, I got to come up with the meme or whatever. And she was like, they have like basketball in that city, don't they? And then like I asked Adi, and he was just like, yeah, basketball. So I was like, okay, I guess it's basketball.
All right, Alex. The Bobcats is the old name of the Charlotte basketball team. Do you know the new one?
Is it the one that's like lightning or thunder or whatever?
No.
That team's
Not even
also
old.
gone.
What is it then? I don't know.
There's no way.
What? No way, I don't know.
There's no way you don't know that.
Well, I don't
No,
blame.
he's
I don't
not a
follow
sports
basketball
fan.
at all. I don't
Help
follow,
him
I
out,
don't
Sempra.
follow any sports, so no, I have no clue.
It's the Charlotte Hornets now. They took the name from New Orleans after New Orleans changed their name.
I was gonna say I thought Hornets was already a team.
So I think what
whack.
happened is originally it was the Charlotte Hornets, and then that team moved to New Orleans, and then Charlotte got a new team, and they called it the Bobcats, and the Bobcats were infamously always bad. Like every single year they existed, they were awful. They also have the record for the worst record in NBA history, and then they changed the name, and they still haven't been very good. But yeah, so it's kind of a. So yeah, 5 out of 5 Bobcats means it's 5 out of 5 difficulty, but also like the Bobcats are not very difficult. So a lot of people there. Did Alex,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
did Alex take his earplugs out? Is he like, I don't want to hear this?
That does appear to be what's happening.
Yeah, like I'm sure that they got like a good amount of rebounds and stuff. So
I like
He
the
is
meme.
not interested in sports ball at all.
okay, yeah, I've got the all clear. Sorry, I was just checking something. Yeah, so talking about Charlotte. Yeah, we're sorry for that minor distraction though. Basketball, love those hoops. Anyway,
So apparently,
this was rated 5 out. This is 5 out of 5, and I think that seems pretty accurate. Like it is a very large tournament. And I wanted somebody to check the number for me because I don't actually have it. I guess here, maybe the Victory Road page has
it's
it.
like, I think it was like 828, and someone in chat said it was capped. So I haven't seen any more signups recently. So actually, I have registered for this tournament. Let me see if I have my if I'm logged in. But Alex, you missed it. You missed the explanation that the bit was that there's a 5 out of 5 Bobcats because there's a lot of people there, but the Bobcats are always bad.
Oh no. Oh
I
no.
rate it. I rate the meme.
Um,
Let's see if I'm logged in Safari.
It's
Yeah,
pretty solid.
828 people at Charlotte, and I think it's capped. So that means that includes juniors and seniors. So even if everyone shows up, I think we're going to be a little short of that top 256 championship point kicker.
but this event is going to be on par with Orlando in terms of size. Pretty crazy.
And it's going to be more difficult than Utrecht because it's on American soil.
I mean, Nick said it. I love these tub things. And now, the thing that's fun though is paralleling it with Orlando. Orlando was the first tournament of the format, and this is the last. Similar sizes, and yeah, I do think this is going to be a little bit less difficult. I don't know if as many people. I don't know what to say. Like, it just doesn't feel as stressful as a tournament, but like I'm sure the people that are attending are super stressed, as
I'm
Adi
stressed.
can attest to.
Okay, here's the problem: is that disregard the fact that I have another tournament a week later that is in different format. That part really sucks. But what I really hate is that because it's the last tournament of a format, you cannot ladder. You can't play the Series 2 ladder. There's no point in it, right? Like on cart, you run into Expanding Force Hatteran, and on Showdown, the ladder is just people memeing or like there's no one else preparing for events, and I think most people are just using Comfort and are locked in, and so you're just going to see like non-standard teams just not good practice, and so just like this really awkward position where it ends up being really really difficult to actually practice for this event when and also build for this event when most of your friends are entirely moved on to Series 3. So it's a really weird spot to be in. That being said, it actually, for what it's worth, has meant that I've now been working with people who are actually going to the events who are not people that I normally get to work with. So that is kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the upside.
So the event's huge, and I think it's going to be pretty crazy. It's going to probably have an official stream. I don't think they've announced it yet, but they've always been officially streaming the NA events. So expect to see that on Twitch. I definitely will be following along, as long as I'm awake. You know, just like the tournament, catching the tournaments live is always exciting. And let's look at some of the past tournaments that were held in Charlotte. Though actually, Charlotte had a regional back in 2018. And then also there was a North Carolina event held in 2019 as well. But let's go ahead and talk about that 2018 one first. It was won by none other than Wolf Glick, who we were literally talking about Orlando earlier. And it was over Ashton. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously some strong players that have been
So
historically
this tournament
historically good.
was also wild because this was a tournament that was the first event that came after the release of Intimidate Incineroar. And they announced that they were releasing it out of nowhere about, I think, a week and a half before this tournament, and everyone had to scrap their team building process, basically.
Turns out that Pokemon was pretty good. We weren't entirely sure how good, but it was. It ended up being better.
I think it's notable though that it didn't make it into the finals, and the two finalists probably had teams that they were comfortable with before Incineroar and just said that they were rolling with it. So that's interesting. But Wolf's team, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the 2018 metagame, but Wolf's team was wild for the time. It was pretty interesting.
It was like Toxic Stall Charizard X, right? It was crazy.
Yeah, Charizard X.
No, it had
definitely
Toxic. Toxic. Never mind.
Like the Milotic might have had Toxic.
It was like super defensive. It was like Roost. It was just like, first off, remember closed team sheet, and then Wolf got like put on stream round 1 or something, so everyone knew that he was running Charizard X and not Charizard Y. But he still managed to win the event despite not having that surprise factor because his team was so unique. It had Roost, it had Landorus, Aegislash, your greatest stalling, and then Tapu Bulu sets up grassy terrain, which not only removes Charizard X's ground weakness, but also allows it to recover HP, so it really did live forever. It had Will-O-Wisp to mitigate damage. Really, really cool team.
The craziest part about this tournament for me Actually, no. The craziest part is Wolf versus Ashton finals when they've done that a couple times. Aside from this tournament, but the second craziest part is 105 players entered it,
Yeah,
and just
105.
that's like an eighth of the size. It's like 13% as big as the tournament that's going to be this weekend.
Yeah, so silly. Yeah, but otherwise, mostly just wanted to note the players and less so the teams. Wolf, Ashton, players that have made deep runs at Charlotte before, and looking at Greensboro, which had 96 players a year later. Um, well, actually, it was
Whoa.
like held at the same
Wow,
time
that's
too.
crazy. Wait, who's that in finals again?
Ashton Cox. How about that? Um, and so, yeah, I lost to Alexander Williams in the finals. Um, and Alex was also using a pretty weird team, but point aside, these are just a good idea of like players to look out for at this upcoming tournament. And
Man, this is such a weird. This is like there is one of the top three teams in Moon Series showed up at this tournament. What happened?
I don't want to talk about Moon Series.
I don't want to either. I just didn't realize how weird this top cut
It
was.
is a whack distribution of choosing cut.
I was gonna say, like, you guys are completely alienating Sempra here. Like, Sempra's looking at these
Sorry.
teams like it's another language.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
But you recognize some of the names, I'm sure. Santi.
Of course, yeah.
I
I just don't know why I see so much Zygarde.
Zygarde.
So we weren't sure why we were seeing so much Zygarde either.
I think
Don't
this
worry.
was Santino's best finish until Players Cup 1 as well. So
Yeah,
it's kind of cool to see that.
very strong finish there, and from a very cool team.
Oh, also kind of notable that Greensboro and Charlotte were both middle of March, and it's at the exact same spot on the calendar again. I wonder if there's reasons for that.
That's intentional. That's like probably the same organizer, right? Same way that like
Yeah.
Dallas is almost at the same time every year. They
Yeah,
just,
and Swansville's too. And, yeah,
yeah. So I think that whoever organizes Charlotte regionals or North Carolina regionals just likes having it at this time of year logistically.
sure.
That makes sense.
All the reasons for it.
Okay, and so with this, couple of players for inspiration. Let's go ahead and throw it down to the smart money before we wrap things up here. We're gonna kind of conclude with it this time. And so, Semper, I warned you about it beforehand so that maybe you had a name in mind. But who do you want to pick as smart money for this upcoming Charlotte tournament?
Paul Chua. I'm gonna go with the most basic answer.
Paul Chua? No, it's a strong pick.
That's a
I
very
think I saw. I think I saw Paul in the chat. Paul, are you still here? And are you going? Because last time we had this issue where I think we had Freeze Eye on, and Freeze Eye picked Paul Chua, and then Paul was in the chat, and he's like, yeah, I'm not attending. And this is what made me stressed and worried about it now forever on.
I think
but
Paul's
I
going.
imagine Paul-
He said
probably
in
going.
chat that number of people who are attending, so he must he must be going, right? Yeah.
Oh,
he's
also
going.
I think Paul. Okay, yeah. Also, Paul tweeted like literally today or yesterday, like sneak preview of what I'm bringing. So yeah, Paul's going, and Paul did just say. So my bad. All right, good pick there, Paul Chua. I can definitely see a strong run from. And so Nick, who do you want to take?
So there's 3 players that cut the past 2 North Carolina regionals. There's Ashton Cox and Brian Yum, who both cut, but I'm going with Z Castayola as my smart money pick.
It was a pick that I was going to go for if nobody else took it beforehand. So yeah, I like that pick. I do know Z is attending, so look out for Z this weekend. Hopefully Z is cooking up something spicy. Now, Adi,
My turn.
what are you thinking?
Okay. There's one player who has done really well at the last 2 events and has gone a little under the radar. They were really good as a senior. I think this is their first year as a master. It's Marcus Dion, is Strider. And he, I think, didn't cut. He got top 16 at both Knoxville and Vancouver, I believe. So wouldn't shock me at all to see him make a deep run, maybe get his, I think, first regional top cut as a master.
Adi. Check chat.
Okay, no, I'm playing Marcus in in the Malamar games this week, and he told me he was also going to Charlotte, so I know he's going.
All right, he's in the clear. Check your facts, Drago. Check your facts, Abe. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then that leaves it to just me and man, I was between what didn't they both? Okay, never mind. I'm reading chat. I was between two picks and after Z, but I think I will go with Ashton. I was considering Wolf, but I actually don't know if Wolf is going. I also don't know if Ashton's going, but I think I'm going to go with Ashton. Ashton is just like somebody who's really strong with like Dozo. I think Dozo's a team that could make a deep run. I don't know if Ashton's going to be running Dozo necessarily, but I just know that Ashton's got like a really strong team building group around him and is definitely going to pull up with something strong if he's attending. And so obviously getting second place at both of the last tournaments proves that he can make it deep. And I mean, Ashton's just one of the best players in North America. So yeah, Ashton is someone strong in the state of Northern California.
North Carolina, yes.
North Carolina.
Or wait, I might have said the wrong thing by that.
The state of Northern California, my favorite state in the union.
It is.
North Carolina is its own state.
It's a state of mind, is what I meant. Oops.
North Carolina has more people than most states.
So yeah, I saw Paul mentioned his is also a Wolf. Yeah, anybody else in the chat, feel free to mention your smart monies now before we wrap up here, because then it'll be immortalized in the video, and you can come back next week and be like, I said it. Just don't mention like 6
I'm realizing just now that you said that I do not have chat up on stream. So it's not actually immortalized in the video.
This whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
I mean, I could have double checked you, so that's also on me.
It's okay. I put it up now. We just got so spam your smart monies right now.
Yep. My smart money is new player first region. That is a fire pick.
That is bars.
Oh my gosh. Dylan picking yourself, nothing wrong with that. Donald wanted to pick himself. It was like, all right, Donald, but you're on the show. It's against the JJ picking Morrissey. Somebody picked Joe. Yeah, these are all good picks. Is Aaron Trailer going? No, Aaron is not going. Yeah, Gina makes sense. I know Gina's been putting in a lot of time.
Is Alberto?
And
I think Alberto is attending.
yeah, I think Alberto said he's going to most everything. So Alberto is another good pick. But yeah, I guess. Is there anything else before we wrap things up?
Do we have any questions? I don't think we know if Cybertron is going or if he's commentating or what. Again, they haven't announced the commentators for the stream yet, so I don't think that they're allowed to disclose whether they're commentating until then. But I would suspect that he's commentating and not playing. I don't actually know. I don't even know.
Cybertron's a cool pick, though. Freezeye, a cool pick. I realized that we didn't get to talk a lot about Sempra's Vancouver run. Hopefully we get to hear more about that. Are you doing a team report, I believe?
Yeah, I am.
Awesome. Where is that going to be posted? Are you allowed to say? I can't remember.
I don't think it'd be an issue at Victory Road, but
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
it's not really a team report. It's like my run, because I stole the team,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, it's like I think it's called like a war story or whatever.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
call it. Perfect. That's going to be definitely look out for that. But
Yeah. If you got any last minute questions, now's the time to post them. Sempra, where can people find you?
At Sempra Q. It's like Sempra with a Q at the end to the A on Twitter.
Yeah. Go
Awesome.
go give him a follow.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have the Twitter handles at the bottom of the thing.
No, I don't. I forgot about that too. The problem is I have one layout and I use it for the for my previews and my Malamar games too, so I have to turn everything off and on again.
Wait, can't you just make another scene? Just duplicate it.
I'm lazy. Leave me alone. I
Wait,
I
but
literally
it's literally just a duplicate button.
you gotta understand. I get off work, I take a nap, I make dinner, and then I like start recording top takes. I don't think about this at all. Oh, do I not follow him? Oh my god. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Problem solved.
Got one Twitter follower minimum.
Audi
out
is
of it.
I was
so cringe,
listen. I was
man.
gonna
Yeah,
go
I
check, and that's why I pulled it up, and then I got distracted
Audi
by
is
Alex
so
yelling at
cringe,
me.
man. Honestly, this is I can't let Audi host again. It's been such a mess.
I mean,
Such a mess.
if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to be going to Charlotte and Fort Wayne regionals, so I'm going to be out of my house for the next 2 weeks. Don't go dox me or anything when I say that, but I'm going to be Alex is going to be hosting for the next 2 weeks. I'll probably be around, but you get to see the Twitter handles or whatnot next time.
Yeah, true. That is the main thing I provide. And yeah.
Listen,
Otherwise-
everybody says imagine he was blocked. You got to understand. I have straight up. Someone has been like, "Yo, you want to exchange socials or whatever," and I hand them my phone so they can type it in, and they see that they are muted and unfollowed.
That's on you.
No, it's on them for being annoying on Twitter. I'm sorry. I mute very liberally. Don't be offended if you're muted on Twitter.
Typical liberal. Anyways, somebody asked, do you think Roaring Moon will be popular in Charlotte? I think so. I think probably as popular as it's been. I think again, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be doing better or worse into the meta as it stands. I guess yeah, I don't know.
It's a very good mon. It's been, it started off very popular and wasn't really performing that well, and it's been falling off a little bit as the series progressed. And I think we'll see a bit more of that. But at the end of the day, it's still just a very solid Pokemon, and it's going to exist. I probably expect 20% Roaring Moon usage, maybe 15%, but not too much lower than that. It's a real mon.
Oh, also, Dylan, I am not going to Charlotte. No, I will not be attending.
I think from
weekend.
this call, it's just me who's going to Charlotte. But you're gonna see Alex and Nails in Fort Wayne. If you want to hang out with them there, if you want to go annoy them.
And also, you will have a nice regional winner interview with Adi this next Monday. So look forward to that one.
Actually, what I'm gonna do, I think, if y'all remember way back when I had quick hitting team reports, and by way back when I mean literally last year. Now that we have Day 2 Swiss, I think I'm gonna do quick hitting team reports for people who make Day 2. I think it'd be fun.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. You should have I think you'll have the time for it. Maybe line up.
Yeah, if I make Day 2, right? I mean, if I don't make Day 2, then maybe I just don't go to the venue. But literally, it's just 2-minute team reports or minute 50 team reports.
Maybe for another stream, Dylan. I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm trying to think if we want to briefly ask any questions to Sempra about his run, but I think we've spent too much time talking. So hope that you still had a good time, Sempra, on the show. And
Yeah, I had a very good time.
Very cool.
It was fun hanging out with you.
I
Just
appreciate
talking
it.
about some VGC. But let's go ahead and wrap things up here then. Let's figure out who we're going to raid, and also mention that this is going to be on YouTube in 2 days, on Wednesday. So if you came in late, didn't get to catch all of it, you can follow the rest of it there on Audie's YouTube channel, CK49, which we can put in the chat. I think it's just exclamation YT.
YT,
I'm gonna do
YouTube,
it.
they both work. You can find me in multiple different ways.
There we go. So yeah, you can check that one out there at Wikichata. And yeah, then that's it for this time, I think. Who is Pokemon veteran CJ? I don't know this